Do what? Let the dogs out. Like, ooh, let the dogs out. Ooh, ooh.
Off the Hook, airing on offthehooksports.com. Your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. Always available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Always available wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
A monstrous show on tap today. As I promised yesterday, we will be joined by former Vol Ron Slay, talk a little hoops, talk about his trips all over the SEC, as that's part of what he's doing with 104.5 The Zone. And Ron is just fantastic. I don't care if he played golf at Tennessee. He's great to talk to, and it'll be great on the program today, so we're looking forward to that. And also an odd thought that I had after watching the 60-minute special on Deion Sanders. Could he be a successful FBS coach at a Power 5 school? I want to get into that and the latest on Tennessee as the Vols prepare for Tennessee Martin. So a monster show. Welcome to the program, and we will certainly interact with you. And John says, good and cold morning, Vol Nation. My goodness, that was true. It is chilly this morning. How are you, Amanda LaFratta?
I'm doing quite well. How are you, Dave?
I'm well. I was a little taken aback by the cold this morning. I don't know that it was necessary for my wife to warm up her car and waste gas money, but she thought it was that cold. So I'll let her do what she needs to, and that's fine. But there's a nip in the air, and it feels like October. There was one slight day where it felt like October before, but certainly not to this level. This is a bit chillier today if you're in the East Tennessee area. If you're abroad, I know we have some listeners in Florida. Well, enjoy the great weather. So that's that. All right, Amanda, a lot to get to today. So Tennessee Martin, it's an opportunity for us to kind of take a look at where the Vols stand in a lot of different ways. And because they're not going to be challenged this weekend. This is going to be a 50 spot easy. Tennessee's going to win easily. This is not a game that's going to test Tennessee's mettle at all, but it's an opportunity to get better. And Amanda, I'll say this, based off the amount of players that we talk to, based off what I hear from these players, I think they will use the week to get better and not just flounder around with a lackluster opponent on the docket. I don't really see that as a concern whatsoever, to be honest with you.
I don't see that as a concern either. I don't think any college football team should use the time to flounder around. I think that you're obviously going to use the time to get better. Now, will they overlook UT Martin? Probably, but does that matter? No, because it's UT Martin.
See, I don't think they will overlook UT Martin. I think they'll look to get better this week. And I say that not because of just a general statement of every team. Just this team has shown me the maturity that I think they'll go out and try to get better. And I mean improve, not for UT Martin. I mean improve throughout the season. So I have no reason to believe that they won't utilize these practices, which is essentially kind of an off week, to get better for the future. So I think the maturity of this team to this point has me convinced that Tennessee will continue to improve throughout the week. And then you get into the final run, and we'll see what Tennessee's able to do in terms of a college football playoff, the SEC championship game, a really interesting scenario that could present itself. And you had mentioned the college football playoff for those that want it and don't like the SEC. Well, you're going to get more SEC. So with a college football playoff at 12, we talked about it yesterday, you're going to get a minimum of 4, right? Every year. And sometimes you're going to get 5. What about this scenario? Let's say Tennessee wins the rest of their games except for Georgia, and Georgia then plays Alabama in the college football playoff. And
SEC championship?
I'm sorry, SEC championship, excuse me. So then Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship game. Then you could have 3 SEC teams with a heck of an argument to make the college football playoff, which is currently just 4.
This season?
Yes, because if you had Tennessee with 1 loss, and that's to Georgia, and you had Georgia goes undefeated, so your 1 loss is to undefeated team, and these are big ifs and buts and candies and nuts. But Georgia would be undefeated, so your 1 loss is to an undefeated team. Or let's say
Alabama wouldn't get in.
Alabama wouldn't get. So let's say Alabama beats Georgia. Okay, so if Alabama then beats Georgia, then you've got 3 SEC teams with 1 loss. How do you determine which one gets left out? That I love chaos. So I'm all for this scenario, but of those 3, depending on what happens around the nation, assuming they're, Ohio State is going to be, if they went out there, they're going to be in the college football playoff. I think we can all agree with that. But now you have Southern California slipping up over the weekend. There might not be another team that's deemed worthy. But do you think the college football playoff would actually put 3 teams in a college football playoff if it got to that point? Because there would be a lot of blowback around the country for those outside of SEC country.
I don't think that they would do that. And I'll tell you who I think will be left out at that point. Ohio State, I don't think is going to make it. I think they're going to lose to Michigan. I think Michigan's going to make it over Ohio State. And I think the 1 loss, that's the one that you might have 2 Big Ten. Well, then you have Clemson. But I think Michigan's going to make it over Ohio State. Then I think if you have 3 1-loss SEC teams, it's going to be based on what are you doing for me now? And Tennessee will be left out of that race. Because if you have Tennessee getting beat by Georgia and then you have Georgia getting beat by Alabama, I think it will be, and I don't think it should be this way, but you're going to take the SEC champion automatically. And then if it's a close game in Atlanta, you're probably going to take Georgia as well. Unless, then Ole Miss could get in here and just ruin everything, but that's Ole Miss for you. Unless it's a blowout. Like, unless one of these games is a blowout. Now we know Tennessee, Alabama wasn't a blowout. It's very, very close. So it depends on how the rest of the season goes, but it's going to be who's at the end of the season, who looks the best.
So regardless if it's Michigan or Ohio State, Big Ten team in, Clemson, if they run the table in, and then if the scenario played out that I said where Tennessee loses to Georgia and then Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC championship game, you think Tennessee's the odd man out at number 5?
Yeah, it depends on how bad they lose to Georgia. If they lose to Georgia, which I don't think they will, but it depends on how bad that loss is, because we know the Alabama-Tennessee game was, really, really close, obviously a 3-point difference. So I think whoever wins the SEC championship is automatically going to go.
Sure.
So in your scenario, Alabama wins it, then Alabama's automatically going to go. And then I think after that, it's going to be who had the not the closest loss, but whose the loss differential was more.
I think the one that Tennessee fans want to see and would be just a great storyline would be Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. I think that would be, as far as I root for stories, that to me would be a fantastic story. I don't think that Ole Miss is going to beat Alabama. I think Alabama will represent the West. But as far as stories go, that would be pretty phenomenal. It's time for the Down and Dirty at 30, a little bit late, but it's brought to you by Honeybee Coffee. Amanda, why is Honeybee Coffee so good?
Top 5% of the beans in the world. Plus, it's veteran owned. So you know that when you're going there, you're supporting a veteran, which is much better than supporting a big corporation. It's good. It's just really good.
I absolutely agree. So the Down and Dirty at 30 brought to you by Honeybee Coffee, and let's get to some news of the day. And there is obviously quite a lot going on, even though it is UT Martin. So one of the things that I wanted to start with is Tennessee and what they are in terms of a national draw, and it's pretty incredible. According to ESPN's PR department, that we're going to trust, even though they retweeted the goalpost thing yesterday. I don't know if you saw that, but the goalpost, preparing goalposts to get torn down for Alabama was all a joke by a parody account, and nobody told the ESPN PR department because they went to the trouble of doing an image overlay and put that out there. And somebody at Tennessee had to respond with the sports information department and said, "Hey guys, this is a parody account." But nevertheless, ESPN's PR department, I think, has this part right. College Game Days returned to Tennessee, the third episode to top 2.2 million viewers. Only 5 episodes have hit that mark the previous 5 seasons combined, up 16% over 2021's week 7. So, like I said earlier, Tennessee is one of those schools, one of those 15 or so schools that when they're better, that the entire sport is better. This as well, Alabama-Tennessee is the most watched Alabama-Tennessee game on record. Over 11 million viewers. Game peaked at 16.9 million. CBS has recorded the 5 most watched college football games for 5 consecutive weeks. So there you go. Tennessee is a national brand despite what they've gone through over the past 10 years. And I said that all along. That's why I said when Derek Dooley is bragging about top 20 signing classes, that should be pretty much the bare minimum. You should be able to get top 5 to 7 recruiting classes pretty consistently. Now, as far as the Heisman, Amanda, Ohio State's C.J. Stroud is still the favorite, almost even odds, plus 110. So you bet 100, you get 110 back. But Hendon Hooker's closing about a 4-1 plus 425. Now that's a considerable uptick from last week. He was about a 12-1. Caleb Williams, who lost at Southern Cal, plus 850. Michigan's Blake Corum is about a 12-1. And Bryce Young now has dropped to an 18-1. So if you filled out my Heisman ballot tomorrow, Amanda, what would be your top 3? Because you get to pick 3.
Ooh, I get to pick 3. I don't have 3 to pick, to be honest. I don't have 3 to pick. I would take Hendon Hooker. As I said, CJ Stroud I don't think is that good. I think it's the people he has to throw to makes him, or being Ohio State automatically puts him in there. I wouldn't have Bryce Young in there. As amazing of a player he is, as amazing of a talent that he is, you can't miss 1.5 games and still be in the Heisman race. I mean,
well, let me ask you this way: who would be your top 3? Because you have to put 3, or the software won't accept your vote. So, okay. I mean, who would be your top 3 right now? Because I can tell you, I would go. I would say Hooker, Young, Stroud in that order.
I would say Hooker, Hyatt, and Bryce Young.
Oh, you have Jalen Hyatt in there. Okay.
How do you not break a record and not get in at least to the Heisman talk a little bit? We know that a wide receiver could win it. Devontae Smith won it. So I don't know why you wouldn't put him in there.
Yep, that's fair. And if it keeps up anywhere close to the pace he's at, he will be in there. That would be pretty amazing. Something I hadn't even thought about, that Tennessee could have 2 Heisman candidates in there. That would be unbelievable. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and share button. We appreciate that, so we can be a part of your Tennessee coverage. Also, the Down and Dirty at 30 brought to you in part by the Mattress Place. The Mattress Place is right there on Chapman Highway, just a couple of miles from the Henley Street Bridge. And the Mattress Place is phenomenal when it comes to the selection and the choices. No gimmicks, just 30 to 70% off each and every day. You will love the Mattress Place. All right, some more notes that we want to get to. We talked about Hendon Hooker and his Heisman odds that are pretty darn good. And then Darnell Wright receiving all kinds of praise from Cole Kubelik. These are pretty insane numbers. And this is one of the things that I was really curious about, Amanda, when Tennessee decided to move Darnell Wright to the right side. I thought, he played left tackle. He's probably your most, well, according to Cooper Mays, he's your most athletic player. Why would you move him to right tackle when left tackle protects Hendon Hooker's blind side? Well, they knew something I didn't know because he's done fantastic there. According to Cole Kubelik of ESPN, 26 reps in pass protection that resulted in a one-on-one. Some of those were against Will Anderson. 22 were clear wins. He missed a couple of slants and a twist, but lost another inside rep, got some help from the guard. So 17 wins, one-on-one versus Will Anderson Jr., who was on my Heisman ballot last year. Just a phenomenal showing by Darnell Wright. And you go back and you wonder, maybe they put him on the right side because if they thought, Will Anderson will line up primarily on the left, and he does. I don't know why. Typically, your best pass rusher is on the right side, which is a quarterback's blind side, but that's not what we've seen previously. But, just like everything else that Tennessee's done so far this season, Amanda, it is turned up roses. And Darnell Wright moving to right tackle, and the fact that you had Jeremiah Crawford and you had Gerald Mincey play well at left tackle has been pretty phenomenal.
This is all, this all has to come back on Heupel. I mean, it's all with coaching. This is a different, we know the talent level is not like up to the Ohio States and up to the Alabamas and the Georgias. But what Heupel has been able to do so far with this Tennessee team is incredible. I mean, people have to give him like his due as far as that goes, because I don't know of another coach in America that could do what Heupel has done with the talent that he has. I mean, he's turning Hendon Hooker into a Heisman candidate. So
he certainly is. A couple of other things that we want to get to, and you can find all of this on offthehooksports.com. We encourage you to check that out. I'm actually going to write a story I'm pretty excited about that'll be up this afternoon about how faith has been a part of this Tennessee football team. So recruiting news. I know you love recruiting news. 4-star cornerback 2024 to announce on Friday. Talking about Caleb Beasley. Caleb Beasley is a guy that I think Tennessee has a great chance to land. He was on campus at the Tennessee-Alabama game just recently, and he sent out all the pictures and the tweets of himself having a fantastic time. But I think that he ends up at Tennessee. He now still be committing on Friday, thanks to our own Caleb Giroux. Beasley attends Lipscomb Academy in Nashville. His commitment will follow their game against Christ Presbyterian Academy. I think some people need to help just a little bit these guys determine when they're going to announce, because right after the game, it's going to get a little bit lost. But nevertheless, Penn State, LSU, Clemson, Florida, Georgia, Michigan, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, and Auburn are in there. 6'7", 179-pound cornerback. Several crystal ball predictions if you go by 24/7 following his visit this weekend, including Steve Wiltfong, who I think a lot of Wiltfong, and we've had him on. They have all projected him to commit to Tennessee, the number 2 rated prospect in Tennessee and the number 19 cornerback in the class of 2024. So you're looking down the road, and when you look down the road, these are the guys, Amanda, that Tennessee should be competing for. I'm not saying they're going to compete with the 4-star guys and the 5-star guys of the world for the remainder of this 2023 class. But in 2024, with what you've done this year, you're probably going to shorten up that offer list a little bit. You're probably going to be a little bit more exclusive to 4- and 5-star guys. There's some 3-star guys that may have not pulled the trigger yet that Amanda might not have the offer they had in August.
I think after you see what this team has done, they obviously should be able to go out and recruit and out-recruit anybody. this shouldn't be one of those, well, you're not going to get the same talent as Alabama. You're not going to get the same talent as Georgia or Ohio State. You should be able to get the same talent. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to. That doesn't make much sense to me when people say that, because, you are in that position now. So you have like record number of recruits at this Alabama-Tennessee game. And I don't know, that's saying a lot. And again, it's saying a lot to what Heupel has done at Tennessee. And I think that is vastly underrated most of the time.
I think it would have made sense in August if you said, you're going to have to offer guys early. You're going to have to really find the diamonds in the rough. That all would have made sense in August. But now with the Alabama win, things have completely changed. And in recruiting, I don't believe in putting too much on one game as far as guys are in town. They're just going to start committing left and right. But the fact that you even played with Alabama and eventually beat them puts you on par with from a recruiting standpoint. Then it comes down to facilities and other things and who you grew up rooting for. And, that's up to each individual kid. But now you're at a competitive standpoint where Tennessee's recruiting has changed and should change dramatically. You should get those 4- and 5-star guys in the 2024.
Also, you have the back-to-back wins, the back-to-back big wins, the College Game Day, the Florida, then the Alabama, and you had a bye week in between and LSU in between. But you have those huge, atmosphere, basically earth-shattering wins that you have a bunch of recruits in for. So those back-to-back home victories, I think, is also a pretty big deal when it comes to recruiting.
Totally agree. From an exposure standpoint, yes, Beasley is a defensive back. Joe asked. Scotty said both the football and basketball squads seem to get in early on kids who have shot up the rankings. That is true, but they don't even have to do that anymore, Scotty, to be honest with you. They can go in and compete with guys, offer them at the same time as Alabama. There have been players. Jordan Matthews is a great example out of Baton Rouge. They offered him really early in the process, and now Texas is coming calling, and I hear that Texas is pushing hard. They might end up losing him to Texas, but the point is they had to get in there early and offer early, which can overextend yourself. But the fact that Tennessee is able to now beat an Alabama, play with an Alabama, I think they're at least going to play with Georgia. They don't have to extend the early offers and cross their fingers and hope anymore. I mean, you can offer right along with the other one. Right to Vape said this helped the end of the 23 class. They may take 8 more. I think it will help the 23 class, but I think what you're really going to see is the 24 class. A lot of kids, because of the early signing day, they've already made up their mind. I don't know that they're going to up and flip because of a couple of good weekends in Knoxville, Amanda. But it's the 2024 class that's the big impact to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right about the impacting the 2024 class, but I mean, not to get too far into psychology, but a lot of people now
with 18-year-olds too.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people now, especially these kids with, social media and all of that, it's instant gratification. So if you're looking for instant gratification, if you're looking for something that's going to get you hype right now, Tennessee is the place to go, because it is the most hyped atmosphere and it's getting the most attention, in college football right now. So if you're looking for that, for kids to get swept up in an emotional kind of a feeling, Tennessee is going to be that place.
Yep. Please hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Brittany pointing out, I don't think Matthews will go anywhere else, especially after a lot of UT fans attended the game in Louisiana and LA. In Louisiana, the week of the LSU game. I agree with you. I was just using him as an example of somebody they got in on early, and we had another post on the message board that said he came out on Twitter, said he's locked in on Tennessee. No, I was using him as an example of just somebody that they offered really early. Right to Vape said exactly, and they could get some big ones here at the end of 23 class. And somebody else brought up, could you get a big transfer kid?
Oh, yeah.
Because of what I mean, we haven't even brought that up, But Tennessee red hot right now. Could they go out and get a Jahmyr Gibbs type? I'm not even talking about running back, but a guy that everybody wants. You come into an exciting offense. Let's face it, if you're a receiver, especially with Brew McCoy, who did transfer, and you're not getting the ball at your school, like Jordan Addison left Pitt to go to Southern Cal, come on, because you're going to have a good time. Zool Beer Company is the official craft beer company of Off the Hook Sports. That's XUL Beer Company, ZoolBeer.com. Fantastic place downtown with parking that you can hang out. We're going to have some events down there we're looking forward to, and it's going to be awesome. And Zool Beer Company, the official craft beer of Off the Hook Sports, you will love it. And we are back in 2 minutes with the man. Ron Slay will join us. Give me 2 minutes. I give you Ron Slay.
Gary Viles here. I want to personally invite you to North Knoxville's newest sports bar and restaurant. It's Big Orange Phillies, located in Black Oak Center. And yes, folks, it's happening in Halls. Big Orange Phillies offers family-friendly environment with homemade meals and the best deli-style subs around. Billiards, darts, jukebox, shuffleboard, and cornhole, and a full bar. We also offer valet parking on weekends and during special events. We even have a covered back patio. It's happening at Big Orange Phillies. We want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
This is Al's Dish Barbecue Supply, so come on in and see all the different rubs and sauces we have, plus a complete line of Green Mountain grills. Don't be overwhelmed. We have plenty of help so you can produce the best barbecue and amaze your family and friends. Barbecue is America's food. We'll do what we can to bring you all the best products. We're Al's Nest Barbecue, where Chattanooga goes to grill.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
Welcome back. We have been looking forward to this for quite some time. One of my 2 or 3 favorite all-time athletes to ever cover, regardless of sport. He's awesome. He is the man. Ron Slay joins us now, former Tennessee basketball player of 104.5 The Zone. And he's just looking dapper as always. He is the man. Ron, how are you, sir? We're having a little bit of trouble with your mic for some reason, Ron. We'll see if we can. But you look great. We'll just get that mic worked out, and we'll get you in there. So if you have questions for Ron, go ahead and get on board now, and we'll talk some hoops. We'll talk some football as well. Ron Slay's appearance is brought to you by our friend Zach England of Best and Brock. Zach is got your back. There's no question about it. Zach England of Best and Brock. And tell you a couple of things about Zach while we get Ron Slay dialed in here. He is a Tennessee native and a member of the Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Georgia Bar Associations. He is absolutely phenomenal. So do we have you now, Ron? Do we have you good? We're having trouble hearing Ron Slay. Okay, try us one more time, Ron. Let's see if we can get you patched in here. Ron's screen bounced in and out, but we're going to get that working. All right, so Ron, keep talking to me. Give me a mic check. These first times are always fun. I don't know why we can't hear Ron. We'll get that figured out. We should be able to hear you, Ron. Are you sure your mic's on the correct setting? Okay, well, we're going to work on Ron. We're going to get Ron. We'll get Ron right back. Are you Ron, if you're on let me tell you this, if you're on Safari, if you could switch over to Google Chrome, that would be awesome. So you may be on Safari. We've had problems with Safari, so we'll get that figured out. I do want to bring Zach England in here just because he's awesome. And look at him, dapper there with the shades. Zach, how are you, sir?
Hey, man, I'm driving, so cool. Just trying to keep the sun out of my eye.
I hear you. All right, we're gonna get Ron on with this momentarily. I do want to ask you though, if I don't want to catch you blindsided with the shades on before we get Ron on, but I do want to ask you about the Jayla McCullough situation. Facing the felony aggravated assault. Just from the surface, what do you make of that, and what kind of potential legal action could ensue? There's a lot of gray area that's out there.
On the front end, I had people say that they sort of out of character for Jay, followed him closely as far as interviews and things like that. Numerous people I talked to said that they just found it odd and out of character, but it doesn't take away from the allegations. First glance and a little by my partners do criminal defense initially on the front end, going to be looking for typically the on their own sort of we're looking kind of head scratching in that. I think there's certainly more to the story. It's just a walk in. I apologize and I leave and chase down to start to try to get the accuser or the victim on the and not having arrest after. I just figured I'd like to hear more of the story from all witnesses, including the with the aggravated actions. It's things that needs to be certainly taken seriously. It sounds Coach Heupel is and kind of kept us to what they let the investigation go from there.
Yep, we will definitely see how it shakes out. So we're going to get Ron Slay on here in just a moment, and people were asking earlier about Jordan Matthews. Now, somebody asked me about the Vanderbilt receiver. No, that's Jordan Matthews, defensive back out of Louisiana. And we were talking earlier about how Tennessee should be able to compete now and be able to recruit with the best of them. I think beating Alabama does that, Zach. So we're going to see about getting Ron Slay back on here. As fun technical difficulties are always fun technical difficulties. Ron's going to join us right back. So hang with us, Zach. So, but you said it, Amanda. At this point, there's no question in my mind that Tennessee should be able to recruit with anybody in the nation, and we can talk transfers as well and potential transfers that are out there. But that's something that I believe that they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, I think that they should be able to recruit just as well as anybody in the nation, if not better.
Yep. So we'll see. They stand now currently right around the top 10, depending on what recruiting service you get to. Brittany said, I just need to know if Ron found Big Al this weekend. Big Al Wilson was in town. I got all kinds of cool videos from the celebration with the players that were all in the box at the same time. That was something that I thought was really, really neat, Amanda, because it had been a long time coming. So as we get Ron Slay lined up, I'll remind you that Bassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland is where you need to go. That is because, you're talking about Big Al. Brittany was talking about Big Al, the elephant, not Big Al as in owls.
I love elephants.
Big fan of elephants.
I went to Africa, and they're the coolest things ever. Like, they're the coolest animal there. I'm not kidding. They're super cool.
No elephants at Bassey Lawn and Garden, but they do have the industrial mowers. They have the commercial mowers. They have all that you need right there at Bassey Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive in beautiful Cleveland. John says what this staff has accomplished with this team. Imagine what they can do with these incoming recruits and future transfers in 2023 and 2024. So they certainly can. And I think Tennessee is going to be in fantastic shape. So we're going to get Ron hooked up here. So bear with me for 2 minutes. We'll get this thing figured out, and we'll have Ron Slay. It'll be brought to you by Zach England here. But we may have Ron now. I think we got Ron now. Ron, do we have you now?
I hope so.
Oh, yes. Yes, you were on Safari, weren't you?
No, I was actually on Google Chrome, and I couldn't unmute my mic. I couldn't unmute my mic.
So it wasn't on me then.
Nah, this one on y'all. This right. I changed locations and everything. I made it work.
All right, you're the man. All right, so Zach England joins us, and Zach with Best and Brock. Zach presents Ron Slay each and every week, and I think he wanted to basically just tell you that you're pretty awesome. Zach, is that what we were going for?
Yeah, my initial Ron Slay, I guess Ron about the same age, but one of the articles, I don't know, but they were talking about this new recruit, this team, and he was real loud, but said they were running sprint, and that he kept screaming, Mike, and he just kept screaming Slay over, and I've been thinking this guy's got some real. He sounds like here on the front end, but it sounds like he's obviously the career. But I remember saw Ian Thompson bowling. It was like it was a Florida game. I don't know why they're playing with Dale Earnhardt died. But I remember Billy Donovan's team, Ron getting somebody from Florida and just sling. But then Ron came up and see that guy just maul me. Anyway, that was two of my earliest as basketball time. So one of my
Good stuff, Zach. You are greatly appreciated, and again, Zach is as good as they come when it comes to personal injury attorneys in the entire nation. Remember that name, and like I say, with every single one of our endorsers, we either do business with them, or if we needed their service, we would do business with them. So I give them my personal endorsement. That is Zach England of Best and Brock. So. Zach, have a fun day in court. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, let me tell Zach something real quick. Zach, you make me feel so underdressed, man. We appreciate this opportunity. But next time, I'm gonna put me a tie on in the morning too, man. I might keep the t-shirt, but I'm gonna put a tie on at least.
No, my Tennessee gear on, so don't know.
Appreciate you, brother.
You guys, go Big Orange.
Thank you, buddy. Sir. All right, Ron. So now that we've got all the fun connection issues worked out, did you go to the game on Saturday?
I most definitely went to the game, Dave. I most definitely went to the game. I was living, breathing part of that game.
You were living, breathing part of it. So how did what was your reaction to the way Tennessee played? What were your thoughts, your general thoughts, before we start to break it down a little bit?
Hey, man, I tell you this. I was able to go to the LSU game as well. And listening to the LSU fans and taking their perspective of it, they were so locked in on what they needed to do offensively to make this game close. They wasn't talking about Ojulari and all those guys up front. They were focused on, man, we got to be able to score. We got to be able to score. So coming into this Alabama game, my whole thought was, okay, they got Bryce Young. I expected Bryce to play without question, be electric as he always is. Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be a problem, But I still felt like, man, with the weapons, even if Tillman didn't play, Ramel Keaton emerging like he was, Brew McCoy, and then Jalen Hyatt, and then Fant also, throw Princeton Fant in there as well. I just felt like, man, it's too many weapons. It's too many weapons. And Alabama having problems in that secondary. I didn't think, and this is funny, coming from an Alabama team, I didn't think they could get enough stops, actually, to be able to score. I did think they could score because Bryce he's just different. And then Team Gibbs up with him. It's just different. But I didn't think they could get enough stops with their secondary, man. And in a sense, it's the way Heupel was able to control the clock. Also with the deep ball threat by taking the top off. So as soon as those safeties come up, as soon as they come up, he's going to make you pay every single time. Somebody's running a go route. I don't care who it is. But I did really, really like the way, man, the offensive line. That was my whole key going into it. If we can I'm a trench lover. Let's just put that out there. I love the trenches. You know what I mean? That's, to me, that's equivalent to being in the paint. It's going to be nasty down there. It's going to be elbows. It's going to be things going on that you probably can't say. And a lot of people in the stands not going to be able to see. But it's ugly now. If you can win that matchup, which they did, control both lines of scrimmages, it was going to be a win. And I think we got that.
Yeah, at one point, one of Tennessee's offensive linemen decided to vomit towards Alabama and then kind of intimidate them with that. Have you ever thought of you had a way of getting in people's head? Have you ever thought of puking towards someone?
Oh, I most definitely would have used that. And what I loved most about it when he did it, he looked at him like, yeah, I'm here all day. I'm vomiting. I'm sick. It don't matter. I'm not coming out this game. You got to deal with it. And the next thing is, when I get to the line of scrimmage, I'm talking. So all that vomit, you going to smell it. Like, I'm using this. I'm sorry, Amanda, but this is part of it. This is the trenches that get nasty down here. So
just gross.
They got to deal with it. I would have loved for Alabama players to look at the referee and say, hey, man, get him out. I would have knew I had him. I would have knew I had him mentally if he would have did it. So, yeah, I love that, man. Nothing pretty down there in the trenches, man.
Do you know what the Alabama player said to him? Somebody interviewed him asking about, it was actually defensive lineman, strangely enough, named Byron Young. And he said, I just looked at him and I said, you nasty. And that's it.
See, I would have told him, yes, I am. Very. I mean, very. You better not get caught under this pile. I'll vomit on you. That's what I would have told him. I'll vomit on you. You don't be under that pile. You get pancakes, you're going to get syrup on you.
I can't.
Just what it is.
Be honest before we talk a little bit of hoops. Okay. When that fumble happened that was returned for a touchdown on the handoff, and I still haven't found out, because one of the things I love about these players, Ron, is they look out for one another. So nobody's saying if it was Hooker's fault or if it was Jabari's fault, and that's cool with me. I don't need to know every single thing, although I'm always going to try. But did you think at that point that Tennessee had let it slip away?
At that point, man. So I've been an advocate all season long of getting rid of BBS, getting rid of the battered ball syndrome. In order to do great things, you got to put positive energy out there. So the entire time when something was going wrong, they may have went 3 and out early. Whatever it may have been, you look at the Florida game, LSU game, all of these things, man, you got to put it out your head, man. Get those negative thoughts out your head. And I'll give the crowd credit. Whatever it is, the positive energy, whether it's from Eckler, whether it's from Heupel, whether whoever it's from, Tim Banks in the locker room with his speeches, it's spilling over into the crowd. Because everybody around me, when that fumble happened and they scored, everybody said, hey, don't worry. We're about to go back on offense. And I'm sitting there like, wow, y'all are right. like we are, and they can't stop us. The only person that can stop us is us on offense. If Hooker throws it over somebody's head or something like that. But other than that, it's for the picking, man. I really didn't think that it was over. The time that I thought, and I had to stop myself, that it was over, was when they threw the interception and they got called back for pass interference. When they did that, I was like, I don't know. I don't know how you recover from this. You know, they got a great running back. You can bleed the clock. This will be over with in a matter of time. They got that pass interference. Went down there and missed that kick. Once they missed that kick, it was on. I knew they were going to get in field goal range. It was just a matter of where you're going to be able to get the kick off in time, and they were.
So Hendon Hooker has been on the Heisman charts as of late. Now, I know Dave and I discussed this at the beginning of the season, in which I said that he should have been higher up on that list. If they go into Athens and they beat Georgia, which I think that they will, I don't think Alabama's defense is that bad. I think Tennessee's offense is that good. I don't see anybody being able to stop them, especially not with the schemes that Heupel is running. It's just to me, an offensive mastermind. Do you see, if they go in and take care of business in Athens, do you see a way that Hendon Hooker doesn't win that Heisman?
No. If they do, this will be the biggest robbery since probably Peyton went through it. And it's funny, it kind of lines up that way, but that'll be, if that happens, that'll probably be the 6th ranked opponent that they've beaten. And you won 2 of those on the road already. That's tough, man. I don't know how you deny him. And then not only is he winning, but he's taking care of the ball. Like that's the thing, man. Like this young man, like one of those plays against Alabama, he ate the ball. Like he could have thrown it away. He took the sack. Like I'm telling everybody, when you got a guy that's 24 years old back there, it's different.
That's a good point.
It's just different, man. You know, he comes in with a different confidence, and he already has a year under his belt from learning this system. Last year, you looked at it, and it was a one read, you know what I'm saying, which was probably going to be schemed up very nice, maybe a second read, and then it just makes him happen. This time, and this man is standing flat-footed in the pocket, going through his reads with Will Anderson playing on Sunday, Ojulari playing on Sundays, Miller from Florida playing on Sundays. Once you get to Georgia, Jalen Carter, who ain't having the season that we thought he would, but he's going to be playing on Sunday. Like everybody you going up, the linebacker from Kentucky, which I like to call Kentucky, but I'll give him a pass until we get to that week. The thing is, like you look at it and it's like, man, this man is doing this not only with the offensive line that was underrated, and very much so, but the confidence he exuded in them is coming out there on the field. So for him to go out there and perform like the way he's going to, I'm gonna just put it out there, like he's going to, it's gonna be up to getting stops. And honestly, I'd say, man, if he lost in the fashion that Alabama lost to Tennessee down there, he should still be in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different with what he's doing. It's very different.
Yeah, and I was the one that was kind of hesitant in the beginning if he would be even invited. I'm to the point now where I not only if I had to fill my ballot out today, I'd have Hooker number 1 today. I would have Stroud 2. I think that Hooker's doing more. I mean, they're obviously talented at receiver, but
right.
He has to go out there and put up points because Tennessee's defense is going to give up points.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd go right now. And Ron, maybe it's battered ball syndrome or whatever, but sometimes I say some of these things, and as special as this season is, I think to myself, there's like something in the back of my head of what the H are you saying, Dave?
Yeah.
I mean, is it not? It's just a weird, magical season, isn't it?
It is, man. And I'm going to tell you what makes it so magical and what makes you question it so quickly. When you go back, like it wasn't 4 or 5 years ago when the roster was cleared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This was bare. We're not even at 2 years yet. and this team is ranked top 5 in the nation. Like, this is amazing. You lose 35 people in the transfer portal, 2 starting linebackers, 2 starting tackles, 2 starting running backs, like, and not running backs that we're gonna plug and go. You're losing 2 dogs. Like, what's the kid name went to Louisville? I forgot his name. Tyon Evans. You lose him, and then Eric Gray. Like, these are dudes. Can you imagine? And this is no slight to small or right. Can you imagine what they would be doing in this system? In space? I know they're at home, man, wherever they are, Oklahoma, Louisville. Man, I'm talking about they can't even sleep at night thinking about this offense. Like, God, you talking about Heisman.
Yeah, especially not at Oklahoma. My God.
Exactly. He looking at Jalen Wright and Jabari Small like, wow. But the thing is, it happened so fast. So you got to question. It's almost like, God, did he catch lightning in the bottle twice? Like, you can't do it twice. That's not supposed to happen. But the way he's out there producing and getting these people to buy in, these kids to buy in, is different. So you got every right, Dave, to question. Like, is it too good to be true? And to a point it is, but I tell Don Davenport on our show all the time, Babs, their best defense is their offense, because you get to make a team play. You have to actually have a team scrap what they do once you come out and you down 10-0. You can't go down 17-0, 14-0 to this team, because they're not pulling off the gas. They're not. Like, people look at the Florida game later in that game and was like, man, he need to keep going, man. And I agreed. Early in the season, I was like, man, if it was the situation they were up 17, Spurrier would have, that first down, Spurrier would have went to, he would have put him out of their misery. He would have went up top. They were running the ball, and a lot of people were saying Hooker should have kept it. Hooker should have pulled it. But I think at some point, as coaches, you know, your players, you got to protect them from themselves. So when they're running the ball and bleeding the clock and not telling Hooker to pull it from Jalen Wright's belly or Small's belly, they're protecting him, because they know at that time in that Florida game, Hooker wasn't sliding no more. He wasn't sliding, so he was going to try to juke the guy, get on down. So you got to protect them from themselves. So you get down in these later stages, man, and you try to start to say, man, can they run the ball? Yes, because you're putting everybody in space in this 6-on-6. And then sometimes you add Hooker, which you give the odd number, and it's like, what are we supposed to do? So you can't fall behind. So your best defense for a team that can't play defense is your offense. Put them in a hole, and that's what they're doing.
I think that's going to end up being kind of the way that college football is going, especially when you're seeing a mind like Heupel, you know, take advantage of even one of the best defenses in the nation in Alabama. This is just the way that it's going. And speaking of Heupel being so, you know, such a special coach, I think we now see he is a very special coach. And Oklahoma's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
They're struggling bad. And I think we all know they're going to come calling. Everyone knows he won the national title there. Everybody knows they're going to come after Heupel. What can Tennessee do besides give this man a raise? Because he needs a bigger raise than what he's gotten.
Mm-hmm.
What else can Tennessee do to keep Heupel happy? Because I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of coach for Tennessee.
I would say, man, make sure you keep his staff together. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, because with Heupel, the reason he's so successful to me, in my opinion, is because of the staff he has around him. Like, the guys, if he can keep them intact, that's going to be more difficult to me than it is to keep him there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at Alabama, like, to me, the reason Alabama, it looks like they have a chink in their armor is because what Kirby did. Like, Kirby took a lot of coaches to Georgia with him, and kind of unraveled that. So now you got Saban plugging guys in there, and I mean, it's just not the same, you know. And it's not just what's happening on the field; it's what's happening in the recruiting and everything as well too. Now you got to add transfer portal, NIL, and all that in too. But I think the biggest thing, man, you be able to keep his staff intact, because you look at it, and I was skeptical of Heupel early on, and not skeptical in the sense like he can't get it done, but more so in, man, when you get up there to Tennessee, a lot of people, just because the down years, don't realize how bright those lights are. You know, and they can catch you and shock you a little bit and surprise you. So I was nervous to see if he was going to be able to handle that. And once I saw the staff he put around him, I was no longer nervous, because you look at recruiting, you look at coaching, development, you get all those things in the guys he got right there with him. And then changing the culture and emotionally getting them tied in, that was different. So I'm sure that Oklahoma would come calling. It'd be a fool not to. I think you also got to look at what Danny White is doing. You know, he trusted him to go get him. And from what I understand, it was a struggle, you know, to make him accept that job at first. You know, and when he did accept it, I think they have a relationship to where he wouldn't want to just hang him out to dry either. You know, it would be different if this was Oklahoma would be a step up from Tennessee, money wise, financially, environment, atmosphere. Like you really, honestly, you can't beat it. And you just look at the track record of Danny White coming from Buffalo and then UCF and so forth and so on, and all his coaches, they always seem to remain a little happy. It was just Scott Frost leaving. That was a shocker, but I mean, that was home calling. That was a step up, but that's not what you get from Tennessee to Oklahoma. Not to me, especially nowadays in this day and age, and when you got NIL and things in place that they sold out Akron. I was around a lot of great teams, man. Watching them run through the T. They ain't selling out no Akron. I don't care if you got to give the tickets away. Ain't nobody. They're not coming to Akron like that. So what he's got built right there, I just think Heupel loves that, man. And grass ain't always green, especially when you out there mowing your own lawn.
I can tell you during the Dooley era when I was working for ESPN, and I called over there and I said, "Hey, I want to be really upfront. I'm not trying to get a credential because I'm not working, but I do want to take my Sunday game. He's never been to a game because I was always working them." And they're like, "Oh, how many do you need?" Yeah, you need 4? Do you need a parking pass? What do you need? And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I guess I'll take 4 and a parking pass. I was just planning on one ticket. Yeah, it's changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And all across the board. And it's things I want to talk to you in the coming weeks. But this Tennessee basketball team too.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious almighty. You look back and I think they got really, really lucky with Rick Barnes being available. Mm-hmm. And this basketball team, they're going to be knocking on the door. And that's what you've got to do to eventually get to a Final Four and win a championship. Keep knocking on the door.
That's exactly what it is. And I think, man, what gets lost in it, Tennessee is you can't say enough words or enough adjectives to say how lucky they are. But I think on the flip side of it, Coach Barnes is lucky too to be able to fall into a place like Tennessee. Reason being, it changed him. You know, he got a makeover when he came. He wasn't the same vibrant guy walking out of Texas that he is right now, sitting in Tennessee. You know, so I think that's one thing that you gotta pay attention to as well. And once getting it, that their plan coming into it, let's get foundation laid. He got an opportunity to lay his foundation, get pillars, and start to be able to develop guys. When he was able to do that, then be able to go out and get those 5 stars, those one and done guys. And when those guys take off and leave, still have a foundation and a program to stand on. He's done a tremendous job of that. And I think, again, coaching staff, like to see that coaching staff turn over like that, losing Lanier, losing Dez Oliver, losing Schwartz this year. English, he bounced so quick. Like you coming in and retooling and getting these young guys in, Justin Gainey and Rod Clark, and these guys doing a great job recruiting, connections to grassroots. He's done enough in a sense, kind of like Heupel, to where he can just concentrate on X's and O's and whatever he does. He ain't got to worry about the recruiting. You know, he's a seal the deal type of guy now. You know, the same thing with Heupel. You got Rodney Garner and all these guys doing development and stuff like that. you're okay when you can concentrate just on that. The problem now is when you have to pull in so many different directions, make sure this is okay, make sure this is okay. And then he ain't got nobody coming for his job. So I think that's beautiful for what he has going on now. This season, it's gonna be. I think this is gonna be just as special, man. Because you look at it, you got a veteran group now. Last year you had to depend on younger guys to step up. It was a lot of questions in the air. Can Olivier take the next step? Will Josiah start to take on the leadership role? You got Zakai coming in, him being the spark. Santi, can you do something a little bit off the ball? Can you handle the ball? Can you play a little bit better defense? Can you move without the ball? You got all these things, and it was difficult. It was difficult to see at first, but they went on a run. They gelled like no other. Had some unfortunate injuries down the stretch that I think would have played different, especially in that Michigan game. But guys coming along, now you got a veteran in Euros. As much as he may not be production-wise, he brings a different type of physicality to it and mental part to the game as far as the front court of we ain't scared of you. And we'll take a punch and we'll give one too. So that's good. Olivier, very rare is it that you get guys to go be able to play with their countries in their Olympics or their the World Games. Very seldom do they come back and not have a very good year. And I'm talking about this is from NBA on down. When KD exploded in the league, Kevin Durant, it was because he dominated in the World Games over in Turkey. Kyrie, the same thing, all the way down to college. It's the exact same thing. You see Santi. The reason Santi, to me, played like that last year, because he got to go play for his home country. And it's different when you playing against pros and you see how they practice, the drills and things they do. It's different. So you bring that back to the college atmosphere, you feel way better. So Olivier got to do that this year.
We'll let you out of here. I'll keep you. No, if you want to stay on for I'll do this the rest of the day.
No, I'm good. You just give them something to look forward to then, Dave. It's cool.
That's right.
I can go all day, baby.
Oh, and I think this was before you were on the afternoon show on 104.5 The Zone, but I said that Jeremy Pruitt should be fired the day after the Georgia State game. And I held on, which I never do because Brent had me on, and I held on, and Don said, yeah, that sounds like just looking for clicks. No, I was damn serious. I thought they should fire him after Georgia State and have Philip Fulmer take over, who was the AD at the time. But that's neither here nor there. The last thing I want to ask you about, though, because I was getting ready for this, and so there's this guy named Victor Wembanyama, and I watched highlights of him. And we think Kevin Durant changes the game, and he has at 7'2" being able to shoot. This guy's 7'4", can shoot, and everything I read about him is these draft analysts saying that he is the next wave of crazy player. He's out of France, and when I'm sure you've seen a lot of him. How goofy, crazy is he? Like elite.
Like, it's no defense for it. And I hear people like Stephen A. Smith and them saying, man, that like he has the total package, but he got to get stronger. He got to get stronger. He got to get bigger. He has to get stronger within himself to make it through an 82-game season and then the playoffs. Outside of that, he ain't got to be stronger in the game of basketball to where it is now. You ain't got guys down there 275 in the paint. The paint is wide open. If you beat your man, ain't no help side coming. You can do a windmill dunk between your legs, and this guy's 7'4" doing this I ain't never seen nothing like this coming. Like I had the opportunity to play against Porzingis before he was drafted, my last year in Portugal, and he could do it all. He hasn't been healthy enough, but the way he's built, this young man Victor, this man grew up playing soccer, so. This don't mean 7'4". Like, and so he has footwork. He knows how to be light on his feet. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to run right, because that's all you're doing in soccer is running when the ball's in your area. So it's not like he's going to be burly and he got to grow into his bones and he's going to put weight on. He ain't got to do that. The league's not. He's not going to be put at the power forward. This man can play the 1, This man can play all the way to the 5. And there's nobody they're going to give the ball to outside of Joel Embiid or Big Joker that's going to be trying to pound him. Other than that, man, you got trouble. This man is trouble with him in the future.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy good. Ron, I can't thank you enough. 104.5 The Zone. I was in the area and got a chance to listen to the station. Super tight. Love the station. Love your show. Obviously, we were touring Vanderbilt's campus because my son wants me to never retire and die broke. So maybe I'll be around your area from time to time because it's looking like that's going to be the case. But Ron, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate it, buddy. And we look forward to it each and every Wednesday.
No doubt, man. I appreciate y'all having me. I look forward to it. I'll see y'all next Wednesday. All right, Amanda.
Thanks, buddy. It's Ron Slade, brought to you by Zach England. Zach's got your back. Zach, Best and Brock. And Zach, when it comes to personal injury attorneys, is the absolute best. That is, again, Zach England. Zach's got your back. Best and Brock. Anywhere in the Chattanooga area, he'll take care of your personal injury issues and make sure those insurance companies pay what they should. Yeah, have you seen this guy yet? The Zimbabwean?
No, I have not. But according to Ron Slay, he's going to be something incredibly special.
Well, and he's got if you watch his highlights, I watched his highlights. I got drug into it last night I don't know why. You know, you get in those YouTube rabbit holes.
Yes.
And you're like, why am I watching the same Norm Macdonald joke that I saw, 3 months ago?
3 hours later, you're just
and it's like, where's my day gone? I was like, Amanda's going to be mad at me for not turning more copy. But he plays with dog in him. Like he's got a little bit of, hey man, it's not like some European players are soft. You've got to look this guy up. He is like talking trash to other pros, and he's 17 and he's 7'4", strokes the 3 and can move.
I don't know how to spell his name.
Zembanyamya. There's only a 10% chance that's right.
I'm just gonna write down the first 4 letters that you gave me, and we'll go from there.
Zimbanyama. Yeah, if you just Google NBA top prospect,
there we go.
He's like going. He would be number 1. It's probably the biggest thing since LeBron as far as basketball, as far as a sure thing. Now you always wonder at 7'4", does the body hold up? Like Porzingis. But anyway, we're gonna get back to football after that. But that guy is bizarro. The French freak, Kevin the Bacon said. So let me ask you guys: did you like that? Did you like visiting with Ron Slayer? Are we going to do that each and every Wednesday on the message board? the massage board. Yeah, the massage board.
Sean,
we're going to do that easy.
You put 2 football players in there. Kirk Cousins. Anytime anybody says, did you like that? I always think of Kirk Cousins. Always. And then the massage with Deshaun Watson. I always think of Kirk Cousins. Did you like that? I'm like,
I know. And he's so bland and boring. He has the most boring game in the world.
He's so cringe. He's so cringe. I can't.
When he gets, I've read too where he gets really sensitive about his name being, for a while there, it was mispronounced as Kurt Cousins. And he's really sensitive about that, which I'm sensitive about being called David. So
that's shocking.
My name's Dave. My name's Davis. If you want to call me Davis or Dave, that's fine. But that he would say Kirk, and he would emphasize it to people at the combine and stuff. They'd call that. That's not gonna help you get drafted. You just say, "Pardon me, sir, Mr. Scout. It's Kirk," and it slipped. But the way Kirk Cousins, it kind of just runs together and sounds like Kirk, doesn't it?
Yeah, who cares? If you're at the combine, who cares what they say your name is? As long as they're not getting you confused with somebody else, who cares? You're going to get drafted. Shut up.
Orange Blood saying Zimbanyama and Iamaleava at the same school. Well, first of all, I'd feel incredibly sorry for Bob Kessling. Second, nobody's implying that he's going to come to Tennessee. He's a straight NBA player. Maybe NIL money will change that one day, but we're talking about freaky marketing and ability money.
I don't know though. NIL, could you imagine? Okay. Could you imagine going to college, getting paid to go to college, showing off, increasing your draft stock? Not that he needs to increase it, but if he did increase it, increasing your draft stock and then going to the NBA and getting paid more money? Like you just.
I believe there will be dudes like that decide to go to college because the NIL money is there as opposed to going straight to the NBA. I don't think he's one of them because from a marketing standpoint, he's going to make $100 million in his first year because he's marketable in France. He's marketable in Europe. But I do, you bring up a great point. I was thinking about that just the other day. So if you're an NBA player and you can go to Duke and you know they're going to find ways to funnel you $2, $3, $4 million a year. I mean, the NBA rookie contract is only $3 or $4 million. I mean, the money can quickly get comparable. And the other thing about the NBA draft is if you go outside of the first round, your contract's not guaranteed. A lot of those guys in the second round don't make the team.
The D League, don't they get paid a lot, like significantly? Like it's in the 100,000 or something like that mark. The D League.
Yeah, I heard that's rough. I think it's called the G League now. I think Gatorade sponsored it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it's called, the league that's less than everybody else's league.
Yes.
You don't get paid anything there. Well,
Pedigo Chattanooga, locally owned store where you'll be treated like family. The region's foremost electric bike experts. They put their hearts into helping you find the perfect electric bike and get the most out of it for many years to come. The prospect that you need to be keeping an eye on next, because I think Tennessee picks up a commitment this week. Stay tuned. Give me 2 minutes. Off the Hook Sports.
It's Gary Viles here, Viles Automotive on Callahan Drive. I've been selling cars here in East Tennessee for 27 years. In that time, I've come to realize it's not about the car. It's about you, the customer. So I'm here to take care of you just like family. Good credit, bad credit, you name it, we can get you taken care of. If we don't have it, we can find it for you. We go across the country to get any vehicle that you want. And here at Viles Automotive, we don't believe in fake numbers. We just give you great deals. And as always, we want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassy Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassy, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassy's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassy Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
This is Steve Rain. I own the Midnight Oil and Michelin Tire Direct service station here in Ooltewah. It's not a fancy place, never has been, but it's a clean place with clean restrooms and good folks who work here. We sell gas and fix cars, nothing glamorous, but we love what we do, and we're going to keep doing it for a long time to come. There's not many real service stations left, and that's a shame. We're the guys just like the guys back in your hometown. We'll fix your tire, change your oil, and put a new set of Michelins on your car. If you want a Twinkie, you'll just have to keep on going. Thanks for the business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
I promise you recruiting talk. We do that right now. It's Talking Recruiting, brought to you by AndyMasonRealEstate.com.
Talking Cruton.
Am I right or am I right or am I right?
Who's on Tennessee's board? The names you need to know exclusively on Off the Hook Sports with Dave Hooker.
Hardly a surprise, but I think Tennessee will pick up a commitment based off the way they played against Alabama and getting the win. And I say the way they played. I think that they were in great shape with Caleb Beasley already. Beasley is going to make his announcement on Friday. So usually when these guys come out and say that, hey, I'm going to make my announcement right after this big, huge monster game I went to, that's a pretty good sign. Steve Wiltfong said that he thinks the 6 foot and 179-pound cornerback will end up at Tennessee. Everybody's projected Beasley to Tennessee, the number 2 prospect in Tennessee, and the number 19 cornerback in the class of 2024. So as far as Tennessee right now and where they rank, and Amanda and I thought had a really interesting discussion. If you didn't have a chance to hear it, go back and listen. We appreciate that. Like, subscribe, and share so we can grow this channel. We got all kinds of big plans, and the more you're a part of it, the more you share, the more you tell people, the bigger it's going to get. It's going to get pretty big. So Tennessee right now ranks number 10 in the 2023 class, led, of course, by Nico Iamaleava. And then you have, I counted this for like the 3rd time the other day. And I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
4 stars.
4 stars.
Yeah.
That still does not sound right to me.
I know what you're saying, 11 4 stars, because you made me count it like 3 times. And I was like, Dave, it's 11. And you're like, are you sure? I don't feel like that's right. And I'm like, no, it's right. I'm counting it. Let me look at it. Let me see. Is it 11?
I did call and ask Amanda. I said, double check my stuff here. I mean, I counted it 3 times and then called Amanda. And actually, I didn't tell you this, but I called my wife. I was like, am I looking at this wrong? Because when you count Nico, 12 guys that are 4 stars or higher, guys, that's a darn good class. I mean, they may rank 10 because they probably took some 3-star type project guys because they had to at the time. But they may rank 10, but it feels like a way better class to me than even 10.
Even the 3-star project guys, like I went on a kind of a rant about this earlier. Those are the people that you're also, that are big deals. Some of them, that chip on the shoulder ends up being maybe your best player.
Cedric Tillman was a 3-star.
Cedric Tillman, Aaron Donald, Aaron Rodgers. Like, I mean,
and
they're all 3 stars.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs.
Yep. Josh Jacobs. You can go on and on and on. So Talking Cruton brought to you by Andy Mason. The Andy Mason Group is a team of professionals that are awesome, over 40 years of experience in the real estate market. Go to andymasonrealestate.com. You are going to be absolutely blown away by what Andy Mason is able to do. And it's pretty simple. How about this? Best service, best prices. andymasonrealestate.com. I don't know how you could get any better. Before we get to this day in sports history, let's get to Kevin the Bacon. I want to go to the message board. Lex saying the Developmental League. Yes, because it's sponsored by Gatorade now. Kevin says Tennessee actually gained some ground with Carnell Tate. I'm going to tell you how I really feel about Carnell Tate.
It's a diva.
Yep. Pretty much what I was
He's
gonna
Beyonce.
say.
Yep. He's Beyonce. He's the Beyonce of recruits.
Yep.
He is a diva. Hands down. And I say that about Beyonce because she has a song that says, I'm a diva. He is the diva of recruits. Praise, praise, praise. Praise me. Love me. Look at me. Follow me. I'm going to tease everyone, and then I'm going to end up at Ohio State.
If I had a bet, I would bet that's the case.
Yeah. He fits right in with Ohio State. I'm pretty sure he runs around going, the Carnell Tate.
Carnell. Boy, the Ohio State is the most annoying thing in the history of
it drives me insane.
Oh my gosh. So for Carnell Tate, I think they made up some ground, Kevin. I don't want to knock the young man, but he does seem to be one of those guys that are enjoying the process. So I won't say that he's definitely going to end up at Ohio State like Amanda. I'll say I have no earthly idea and that he likes the attention. And your guess is as good as mine. Is Tennessee really in it? They could be absolutely. No, he didn't show up for the game. Somebody asked Daniel that. They could be absolutely in it, Amanda, or they could be absolutely not in it. Talking about Tennessee and the recruitment of Carnell Tate. Only that young man knows.
Really, I mean, and this is my thing. And, normally you would stay away from criticizing kids because they're kids. They're getting paid now. So I'm going to criticize away because anybody can do that to me. Anybody can do that to anybody.
You've never been criticized on message.
Oh, never. I've never been told I have no
Neither
personality.
Neither have I. No, I've never been. Neither of us have ever been criticized.
No, of course not. But when it comes to this kid, it very much seems like somebody that I may not exactly want on my team. You get the OBJs of the world. You get the Antonio Browns. We're seeing how well that's working out. I mean, honestly, these diva kind of guys, these look at me, praise me, follow me, look at all what I'm doing. Those kind of guys don't exactly work out well in the end. They end up being kind of a cancer to the team. And as their talent might be there, they might be just wonderful. That whole ego thing doesn't work out for someone like Josh Heupel, for someone that's coaching a team as a team and not coaching individual players to be the best thing ever and to go on Instagram and flex. Like, it's just, that doesn't always work out. So.
Agreed. And that's why I say enjoy this team, because based off the people I've talked to, Nico Iamaleava has more ability than Hendon Hooker. They are going to have more talent next year and in 2024 than they have this year. But it doesn't mean that innate, hard to put your finger on chemistry is going to be there. It may or may not be. Sometimes that just happens. The 99 Tennessee football team, guys, was better than the 98 team. The 98 team, though, just had a hunger. They wanted to prove they could win without Peyton Manning, and they won a national title. The 1999 team, you had some guys who were ready to cruise on. They had their ring, and they wanted to go to the NFL. Not all of them. I'm not throwing them all under the bus, but you had some guys. I mean, Jamal Lewis, he played running back. This is before a time that you could just put together, a joint and everything's fine. I go back to that Kentucky game in '99. He wasn't ready to play. He didn't want to play in that game. He was stunned and surprised that he had to end up playing because Travis Henry got hurt. I thought for a second he didn't know where his helmet was. I'm only barely exaggerating.
That's fair.
So they have a special chemistry here, so enjoy it. Just like you should enjoy the fantastic supplements and the savings you'll get at Nutrition World. Nutrition World knows where their supplements come from, and that's not always the case. So it is absolutely imperative that with Nutrition World, you know where your supplements come from. And I take supplements. I take vitamin D, vitamin E, all kinds of them. They come from in Nutrition World, nutritionw.com, one of the best e-commerce stores in the entire nation, especially when it comes to supplements. So check them out. All right, here we go. Let's get to a little bit of this day in sports history. What do you think about that, Amanda? This day in sports history.
Sports history. Putting things in perspective, exclusively on Off the Hook Sports with Dave Hooker.
You're so old. When you were a kid, rainbows were black and white.
And Amanda LaFratta.
New Kids on the Block just called. They wanted you as a backup dancer.
All righty, here we go. Thank you, Brittany. You're awesome. And I figured out the spreadsheet, which is super cool because, as you know, I struggle with spreadsheets.
Proud of you. Proud of you.
Thank you. I think the day you were out, I got the date wrong again. Yes, but now I know if you just scroll to the left, it has the date.
That hurts my feelings.
All you got to do is just scroll to the left. This date in sports history, Tennessee sports history, October the 19th, 1946, Tennessee beats Alabama 12-0 at home. So there have been a few in there. What's that?
1946.
It was a long time ago. New York City. That reminds me of that old salsa commercial. You remember that?
El Paso? Or whatever it was? Yes. Yeah.
They should bring that back. Or another salsa company should somehow bring that back.
I don't know if that's
City-
legal.
Well, you buy it. Figure out a way to do it. Salsa is. I'm not just saying this because I love Seinfeld. Salsa is the best condiment, hands down.
On eggs. I love it on eggs. I know
Oh,
that sounds
yes.
really weird, but
No, it doesn't. Like, I don't eat eggs without salsa on them. And I sometimes use the green salsa, use all different kinds of salsa. Sometimes when you say it real fast, it sounds like seltzer. Salsa, seltzer. That's a Seinfeld reference.
that is the Seinfeld reference.
But best condiment. Is that today's tough question?
Oh, we didn't even do a today's tough question. I don't know. Best condiment should be a today's tough question.
You better come up with something quick because here it comes.
We do our research. Have you done your research? We're working like heck.
Today's tough question. What's the real debate?
You sipping my Soupe Guadalupe?
Exclusively on Off the Hook Sports with Dave Hooker and Amanda LaFratta.
You drinking my sake kimosabi?
Oh my God.
Smoky Mountain Red says sauce on eggs, 1,000% normal. Yes.
You know who has the best stuff, like the best salsa to put on eggs?
I don't.
Okay. I always have to make somebody say, no, dear God, no. I always have to make somebody say, what is it? Like I never will just tell you. It is Waffle House. They have something that is so good. Yeah, it's in a bottle. It's on the, like, you might have to ask for it now, but it is so good. It is so good. And you can't buy it anywhere and it sucks, but it's really good.
Yeah, you and the hubby need to come down to Chattanooga before I move back. And because there's this one place called Bluegrass Grill, I believe is the name of it. And the only bad part is the food's so good that on like a Saturday morning at 9 a.m., the wait is like 45 minutes.
We have one of those, not one of those, but we have Nick and Jay's down the street.
Oh, Nick and Jay's. Okay.
So good. And no, I don't live in Arizona. I think someone asked earlier, like on YouTube, they're like, does she live in Arizona? Like, no, I was just there for a wedding. I'm back in Knoxville. I live in Knoxville.
Orange Blood says ketchup on eggs. See, I can do ketchup on eggs.
No, Patrick Mahomes. I cannot do that.
Does he do that?
No, he does it on steak like a weirdo.
Oh, no, that's wrong.
E-
I think steak sauce in general is wrong.
Depends on what steak you have.
Do you have you ever had bachelor nachos?
No.
I've had bachelor nachos when I was in college and broke, and that's when you can't even afford the cheese. So it's just saltine crackers with mayonnaise and Tabasco.
That's disgusting. Just get a pack of ramen.
That's all it is. You just...
So bad.
My wife's like, goodness gracious, are we this broke? Because my wife and I have been together since we were, 19, 18. And she's like, are we this broke? I'm like, yes, we are. Enjoy your bachelor nachos.
I can't believe she's still with you. Good Lord. After all that. After all of that.
We end the show with your opportunity to win stuffs. Brittany says if the steak is cooked correctly, it doesn't need sauce. Amen. Amen.
True.
Vol said Tennessee has the 6th best odds to win the national championship. Is that right?
What?
Okay. I got to look that up. So let's go ahead and get to, I'll open it up to everybody. I don't know that I'll have a guess, but I'm going to look that up. All right. So let's go ahead and get to right now. Let's get to message board bingo. This is the way this works. Message board bingo is brought to you by Craft Treats. And what Amanda will do is she will read from a message board. If you tell us what school's message board that is, then you will win a gift certificate to Craft Treats, where they have the fantastic chill pills. And what do the chill pills do? Well, the chill pills help with your pet, and they help make sure that your pet is able to overcome arthritis or digestive situations or a social anxiety or any sort of anxiety because they use CBD cannabinoids. So it's available at crafttreats.com, and you save 20% if you check out with the exclusive code Off the Hook, But we are going to give some away right now, while I'll look up and see, is Tennessee really the 6th best national championship odds? That is insane, though. All right. Again, it's one of those situations where you're like, am I really having this conversation right now?
Oh, I have today's tough question.
Oh, yeah. What did you settle on today's tough question?
Figured it out. So, can Tennessee make the college football playoff? 1, not a chance. 2, probably not. 3, I could see that. 4, already booked my hotel.
Love it. Love it. So go ahead and post that up, and let's get to message board bingos. A lot packed in here. So the odds, by the way, I found them. Ohio State's a plus 170, which means you bet $100, you get plus 170. Georgia is a plus 190. Alabama is a plus 400. Clemson is a plus 1,200. Michigan is a plus 1,600. So all these numbers essentially mean 16 to 1, 12 to 1, 4 to 1. And then Tennessee is plus 2,000. So yes, they have the 6th best odds, and then there's a significant drop off. They are 200 to 1 odds to win the national championship, and UCLA is a 500 to 1 odds to win the national championship. And then you get Oregon, and then there's another drop off to go down to Southern Cal from that 5,000 mark. So Tennessee is clearly in the top 6 teams, and then there's a separation that Vegas thinks can win a national championship. How crazy is that? And I'll be honest with you, Amanda. I'm looking at this, and I think you would agree. I'm pretty objective. The best value bet on the board, I mean, the safest bet's, of course, Ohio State. That's why they're a plus 170. I think there are 2 value bets on the board that if I bet, I would go after, and that's Alabama to plus 400. I could see them turning things around after a loss and winning a national championship. That wouldn't stun me because I think Bryce Young's that good. I think they've got other deficiencies, but I don't think there's an elite team this year. And then the other value bet is Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, I'd bet Tennessee. Honestly, I would bet Tennessee. The only way I see Tennessee not making it to the college football playoff, and it may be that Tennessee wants to, I'm not going to say this, maybe lose to Georgia, because that might be your best chance of doing it, or Alabama gets beat by Ole Miss. But if I were any team, doesn't matter who it is, I would not want to play Nick Saban twice, because it never bodes well for the next if you lose, or if you win first, I wouldn't want to play him twice.
Agreed. And I'm doing my best to block all of the Tinder hot adult dating sites that are coming up on our message board. So I'm doing
it's Dave's Tinder hot adult dating. It's him.
That's right.
It's him. You're gonna get a big surprise when you click on one of those.
Yeah, it's me. Swipe hook.
You could have said hook right. Like you swipe hook. God bless. It's right there.
On the fly. Did you ever do the Tinder when you were single?
I've never done any kind of no, it was really random. I've never done any kind of dating, anything, no app, none of that. I mean, the closest thing I got to dating apps is like MySpace back in the day. It's not really a dating app, it's just social media, but
I had somebody, I was in a wedding one time where this was years and years and years ago, but it was really odd that you even met somebody online. So that he told a story, and I remember him saying, I know people think we're crazy, but we met online. They now have like 4 or 5 kids, and they've been in love and everything's great. But I thought to myself at the time, I was like, why is that? That doesn't seem weird to me, really, because I mean, if you think about it, it's just another way to meet people.
Yeah, but a lot of people get catfished. There was a whole show based on catfish.
Manti Te'o. Yes. Manti Te'o.
I don't think he was really catfished, but that's just me.
I think he may have catfished himself, which you're not supposed to do, especially in public. But anyway, we're trying to get those off all the boards. Okay, now a couple of people have asked me too on the board, can they play? Crazy says, I finally got my shirt. Can I play again? Brittany says,
Congratulations.
"Can I play?" Yes.
Yes, they can play.
You all can play. And Brittany, I know you don't have a pet, but we can hook you up with some barbecue supplies. I know you barbecue. So Brittany says, my husband and I met on Facebook and met in person at a Tennessee football game. That's pretty awesome.
That's really cool. Good for you guys. I think it was different. It's different for me because I was a bartender for a long time. So meeting people wasn't outside the norm. Like, you always met people. Matter of fact, crazy thing, I met my husband because I was a bartender. I was his bartender. He came in like once every week, once a week with his wife. But this was like, I knew her and him at the same time. This was
a lot.
It wasn't
Springer really quickly.
Yeah, it wasn't really it sounds a lot worse than it was.
It does sound bad. You're right.
I was never a factor. I didn't even look at him twice. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was just a big nerd.
Owl's Nest Barbecue is your home for barbecue supplies in Idlewild. So you'll get to choose from either the craft treats, or you will get to choose from Owl's Nest Barbecue. And we'll have a barbecue kit that we'll send to you. Owl's Nest Barbecue has all the barbecue supplies you need, be it sauces, rubs, whatever you need. That's right there in Idlewild. So let's get the message board bingo, and it is now.
And I'm not a home wrecker, just FYI. I didn't.
Crazy says Amanda Homewrecker LaFratta.
No, I'm not. I didn't talk to him until after he was going through what he was going through, because he looked like a kicked puppy. And I was like, you want to come and hang out with my friends? Because you look really sad. And that's how it started. Okay. Why not hire someone?
So many inappropriate things I could say right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm very open. Why not hire someone like David Blaine or David Copperfield to design trick plays? Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I just heard it. I heard it. Okay. Seems like they could come up with some flawless trick plays, being that they are masters of illusion. I think it's worth looking into. Someone needs to pass this idea on to Jimbo, and yes, I heard it.
Oregon State. Who's got the answer, and you can win a prize bag? Because I'm going to Oregon State.
How are you going to Oregon State?
I just don't know. I was laughing about something else. Brittany says Alabama. Is it Alabama?
No.
So somebody needs help on offense. Kevin says I can't speak. So what is it?
If I told you all the whole story, you'd be real.
Yeah, it's even better.
It gets even better.
Okay, Daniel says Texas A&M.
Yes, I said Jimbo in the thing.
Oh, and Brittany actually said, dang it, Texas A&M. Daniel, I'm sorry. Brittany beat you. Brittany, do you want the barbecue supplies, or do you want another Hooker t-shirt? You just let me know. So you've got my email. You're nice enough to give us this day in Tennessee sports history. Yeah. So great place to watch some football throughout the week is Big Orange Phillies. Big Orange Phillies right there in North Knoxville. Check them out, and they're easy to get to from Maynardville. They're easy to get to from Halls, and they're easy to get to from Powell, and you'll love Big Orange Phillies. Family friendly, unlike what Amanda just said. And don't forget about Biles Automotive Group, which is the epicenter of integrity in the car industry right there on Callahan Drive. Whether it's service, whether it's car selection, that is Biles Automotive Group. Have a fantastic day, everyone, and think what you will about Amanda the Homewrecker. I
am an open book. This is what I mean.
I'm Dave Hooker. This has been a production of Open